Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more detailed videos. He stares into the distance, grief etched into every line of his face. A man torn by love and loss. That is Dante Falconeri, and for 2025, Dominic Zamprogna's portrayal of that tortured soul has earned him a Daytime Emmy nomination for lead actor. This is not merely a nod. It is a recognition of emotional resonance, of sustained power, of an actor who has made heartbreak his language. This nomination marks his 5th Emmy nod overall, but something about this one feels different, deeper, earned, tinged with the weight of years. To understand what makes this performance stand out, we must look beyond plot and examine how he embodies Dante in his darkest hour. What does it take to carry scenes heavy with grief, with unresolved pain, with the tremors of betrayal and the echo of lost hope? First, he must make us believe. He must give us Dante's fracture points, the moments when control slips, when anger flashes, when vulnerability bursts through. Scenes where Dante speaks in soft sighs rather than speeches, where tears are held back only by a flicker in his eyes. That is where the performance lives. The journey to this point has been long. Zamprogna first joined General Hospital as Dante Falconeri in 2009, gradually rising from dramatic arcs to become a central pillar in Port Charles. Over the years, Dante's life has been a tapestry of betrayal, identity revelations, love lost and found, and tragic misfortune. But it is in his recent arc, the death of his fiancée Sam, the return of his ex-wife, the collision of past and present, that Zamprogna's craft is given room to resonate. The moment Dante learns of Sam's death is a masterclass in restraint. Rather than theatrical collapse, we see subtle disintegration, clenched jaw, a breath held too long, tears threatening but not falling. His collapse happens inward first, and only later outward. That is the choice, to show grief not as spectacle, but as slow erosion. The camera lingers. We feel him shaking internally. This is powerful because it's plausible. It's human. Then comes the return of Lulu, his ex, awakening from coma, a living ghost in his life. The walls Dante erected around himself start to crack. Scenes shared between Dante and Lulu carry echoes of past intimacy, guilt, longing, and suspicion. Zamprogna must walk the line. Is this man drawn to her out of love, out of guilt, or because she is the last tether to a world he once believed in? At every turn, the stakes are internal. Every glance, every hesitant word, every sudden recoil, they all must feel lived. The emotional stakes amplify when Dante discovers that he has a son he never knew about again. That revelation is frightening, destabilizing. It sends Dante reeling, questioning his identity as a father, as a partner, as a man who thought he had weathered enough. And so Zamprogna must open Dante's wounds anew, not for shock, but for truth. Throughout this arc, the nomination highlights one particular thread, Dante's grief. Zamprogna's ability to carry longing, regret, mourning across scenes, to play grief in motion, not just in collapse, is what sets him apart. The Emmy recognition isn't just for one scene. It's for sustaining emotional weight over episodes, for making the audience inhabit Dante's interior, even when the camera is distant. When Shakespeare said, "The play's the thing," here the performance is the thing. Dante's story is rich with plot turns, but Zamprogna earns the shifts. The stolen embryo arc from years past returns as a mirror, reminding us that Dante has lived through loss before. Now, that history colors every reaction. We don't just see him responding. We see the accumulation of trauma, the layers. Critics and fans alike have long praised his consistency. His prior Emmy nominations, first for supporting actor, then ascending to lead, reflect his evolution. But what he's doing now is more demanding. Supporting roles give moments. A lead nomination demands the center, the burden, the lifeline. You are the axis around which stories turn. To merit that, the actor must carry the narrative through silence as much as dialogue. In this season's nomination pool, Zamprogna stands among formidable peers. The 52nd Daytime Emmy's lead actor category includes names like Peter Bergman, Eric Martsolf, Greg Ricart, Paul Telfer, All veterans and accomplished talents. The selection of Zamprogna into this group is a statement. Dante's grief is not a soap trope, but a layered study in heartbreak. The ceremony itself will be hosted October 17, 2025 at Pasadena. On that night, whatever the outcome, this nomination cements a moment in his career, recognition by peers, inclusion in a canon of daytime excellence. But let's return to the performance. Let's imagine a sequence. Dante enters the room where Sam's memory lingers. Photographs, personal items, scent, silence. He holds her scarf. His voice breaks as he speaks to her, though she is gone. He cradles the emptiness. This is where Zamprogna must inhabit absence, the hardest thing for an actor. To act around a ghost. And he does with confrontation with Lulu. They talk past each other, both saying what they want, but what lies between them is unsaid. Dante's jaw clenches. His eyes dart to memories in the room. A sob is swallowed. In that fraught space, Zamprogna must allow Dante to live in contradiction, love and resentment, longing and betrayal, without surrendering coherence. The nomination also rewards depth in quieter moments, a man alone, reliving pain in reflection. One night, Dante stares at the ceiling, caught between grief and resolve. Is he broken? Or does he force himself upright? The performance must find that tension. To viewers who have followed Dante's journey, this arc reads like a reckoning. For new viewers, it must still land. Zamprogna is asked to give us entry points. A flinch at a memory, a hesitation in speech, a wince at a name that tell us who Dante is now. All of that layered atop 16 years of history. What can we, as audience, take from this performance? Empathy. The reminder that grief is not linear. That love and guilt can coexist. That forgiveness isn't a destination. It's a process. That sometimes the person you loved most becomes a wound you carry. Zamprogna gives Dante's wounds form, carries them across scenes, lets them throb, and we feel them. This nomination also speaks to daytime drama's capacity for depth. Soap stories are often dismissed as melodrama, but when executed with intent, with actors committed, they become emotional odysseys. That's what Dominic Zamprogna is doing here, taking soap's heightened world and grounding it in heartbreak that echoes real lives. When the final credits roll and the Emmy result is announced, the measure of this nomination won't only be whether he wins. It will be whether viewers look back and say, that performance moved me. That I saw in Dante's sorrow something of my own. That I carried him for weeks. That, for a moment, grief became poetry. So, to Dominic Zamprogna, this is your moment. To Dante's fans, this is vindication. To all who write and act and watch, this is proof that daytime still holds emotional truth. You step into silence. You hold your breath. And then you speak. You waver. You break. You rise again. That arc, the fall, the fracture, the attempt at rebirth, is the heart of this nomination. And for 2025, the spotlight is on Dominic. His Dante, wounded yet persistent, is the nomination's beacon. Whether he carries home the statuette or not, his performance has already won something greater: our attention, our empathy, our hearts. Here's to a performance that aches. Here's to an actor who inhabits sorrow. Here's to Dominic Zamprogna as Dante Falconeri, nominated, unforgettable. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel for all of your updates.